Yeah, I worked through my I worked through my stop it. You can talk about
I
family.
forgot she could see me. मुझे लगा मैं पीछे हूँ मैं यहाँ से बोल सकती हूँ बहुत आर्ग्यू करती है लेकिन but I forgot she could see the camera. By the way, you're leaving vlog.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
vlog.
oh,
You're going out of frame again. It's नहीं नहीं मालूम है यार.
No, I was-
ये
I
actor
was-
बनना चाहती है कमाल करती है. Yeah, so the out of it.
no, I was just listening to you so intently.
There's a dog who's joining our interview. Can you hear him? Yeah, he's लगे हुए हैं मुझे बात. दूसरे problems लगा हुआ है. My father named her Aarti, her mother, my wife. We kind of both fitted in on this and said, fine. Not much thought. So अच्छा ठीक है जो भी देना दे दो.
Hello and good evening, Pranutan and Mohnishs, sir. Welcome to ETimes Times of India. I hope you're doing good, and it's an honor to be interviewing you. Seriously, how are you spending the time in a partial lockdown, I can say?
Well, thank you very much for the interview, and it's an honor to be interviewed. Yeah, I feel kind of relevant after so many years, which is a wonderful feeling. Well, partial lockdown, it doesn't bother me too much personally. Because it's not like जैसे कि मेरी shootings रुक गई या कोई कुछ काम तो है नहीं मेरे पास तो वैसे भी मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
And it's not that he steps out at all for any other social events also. So he's been living a very COVID friendly life.
Yeah, I'm quite happy about it. I'm quite happy about it that she can't step out either.
Oh, so sir, पूरे
sorry.
I would say you are an introvert.
No, I wouldn't say introvert. No, not at all. I just don't. I don't particularly care much for heavy duty social interaction. I mean, I would rather, hang out with some known friends. Yeah, that's all. Nothing like that.
Well, it is interesting to know because while researching about you, sir, this is the second thing that I'm finding common between you and me after aviation, obviously.
Uh-huh. You're an aviator, are you?
Yes, sir. I trained to be one. I have a license, but then eventually I did not go to do a job.
Where did you fly? Where did you do your flying?
California. It was in Atwater.
Wow. Okay. So you're rated on which? Multi or single or what? What is your rating?
Single engine and multi-engine. I did part 141. Then I completed my private, then instrument. Commercial, I took a bit time. Then I did my commercial as well.
No, I didn't do ILR. I did single engine on the Piper Super Cup here in Bombay Flying Club. So yeah, the Cessna 152 had come in at that time, but it was a single engine, and I didn't do my rating on that. But I got into films, But nothing like flying. Love it.
I swear, it's a wonderful experience.
Get the fact. You both were like connecting on another level, right?
I'm so sorry, brother.
No, you're good.
Sorry, going back, 1985, that's when my license is, 84, 85 license. I was actually training to become a commercial pilot with the intention of probably taking it up as a regular job. And then Maine Pyar Kiya came along and became a hit. So, it was one film that happened after that. And actually, if Maine Pyar Kiya hadn't happened, I would have probably been an out-of-work pilot. So, yeah.
So after films, like you were never interested into films initially?
No. I had basically, my primary focus was to become an aviator. I wanted to join the Air Force, the Indian Air Force.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but my father, who's an ex-naval officer, Royal Naval, and then Indian naval officer, served during the Second World War, etc. He wasn't too keen that I join the defense services. He says it's a very regimented life, and you kind of get stuck in places and posted and things like that. You won't feel the freedom and the passion. That's what he felt. So my mother was very keen that I do, become a defense person. So then the second best option for me was to become a commercial pilot for me. So that's how I pursued flying. And simultaneously, I also, tried to become an actor. And after giving 5 films as a flop, there was no more work. So, yeah, well, and then came along with it. So that's the story.
That's lovely. Pranutan, what about you? Were films always on your mind, or you had a different ambition like Sir did, from defense to aviation and then films?
No. Basically, I wanted to be an actor because I grew up on film sets, and it was literally like school. Say I used to go straight to Filmistan, Mehboob, Kamalistan, So it was actually like that for me. But I wanted to be educated. I didn't want to leave my education behind, just so that I could audition or get into movies. And my parents were also very particular about that don't put your education on the back burner. And I got into law college. So I am a lawyer. I've completed my BLS LLB. And I worked through my, stop it. You can talk about that.
I forgot she could see me. But I forgot she could see the thing with the camera. By the way, you're leaving blog.
Okay.
Yeah,
so and I worked throughout my 5 years of study. I did various internships, but then I felt that, okay, now I've studied, and I would like to try what I always wanted to since before I became a lawyer. And then it started. The real deal started, I think, at that time.
Wonderful. Sir, your mother was a legendary actress, but when you thought of coming into films, or when you did various films, coming from that background, एक weight बहुत होता है to perform, to prove a point, because then, see, if I go into acting, or someone else like me who does not have anyone in the film industry, only I'll be judged. But you as a person, आपका comparison होगा initially. Initially, you won't be, say, लोग ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि भाई, बहुत अच्छा actor, आपका comparison होगा, या प्रनुतन का होगा. So what is, कितना heavy होता है वो? What is the pressure like?
See, I think a lot of people feel the way you felt. And I appreciate that. But the fact of the matter is there are pros and cons to it. And the pros jo advantages hain, that far outweighs the cons. The first and foremost thing is any actor, any person in a public field needs to be appreciated and loved by the audience. No matter how good you are at your craft, if you're not liked on screen or whatever your craft is, a musician or whatever, the audience will not take to you. They will not accept you, no matter how good technically you might. So what happens is when you have a mother like I had, that path has already been broken. She's already done that for me. It's an interesting thing. It's like Nutan ji ke bete hai. So there's already that endearment. I'm already part of that family, their family, the audience's family, which is revere her. So it's not such a big strain on me, or that's my take, to be her son, because the love I felt because I'm her son, I think far outweighs the love or the appreciation I've got as an actor. It's almost synonymous. People say, हमें आपकी फिल्म XYZ, हम आपके अकाउंट बहुत अच्छी लगी, आपका कैरेक्टर किरदार बहुत अच्छा लगा. And then the next sentence will be, लेकिन आपकी मम्मी. It's always like that. And I appreciate that. And they say, आप तो होंगे, आप उनके बेटे. There's that love. So that's something that it takes a lifetime to earn that. And my parents, my mom in this particular case, has kind of just handed it over to me. So no, I don't think there was any pressure being her son. The only pressure that I did feel, or let's say I was conscious about in terms of being her son, was that, look, she had a tremendously clean reputation, a good reputation. And it was very important to maintain that. Not that I'm by nature a person who could be irreputable, but you need to function in such a way that there can be no question on your integrity. So that was my guiding force, the professionalism, those things were there. as a guiding force. Also, another thing is, because mom is a female actor, I'm a male actor. There's no direct comparison as such. Pranutan would face that. So all the best. Yeah, she would face that. You're going out of frame again. It's framing ही नहीं मालूम है यार. ये actor बनना चाहती है. कमाल करती है.
No. I was just listening to you so intently that I kind of, got relaxed, and I was like, yeah, because I think these are pearls of wisdom. It's got nothing to do with acting. It's so much more about life and conducting yourself. But yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, so I was saying you might face it, but as for me, she has done law, so I think she'll be a brilliant actor, because lawyers jab court mein hote hain, they are brilliant. And I think, there's a saying that lawyers are very brilliant actors. So I think she won't face any problems.
No, Pranutan, sorry, I'm interrupting this, but I think she has a lot of talent. I think she has a lot of dedication. I think she's got what it takes. Then again, I'm a father. So it has to be taken with a pinch of salt. I have to doubt my own opinion. Having said that, I'm also an actor with 40 years experience in this business. And I do have my alternative viewpoint when I give her advice on what is cinema. I believe in commercial cinema. I believe that cinema has to run. It has to have a commercial run. It's not about, looking at a screen and watching a frame, the sun setting for 5 minutes. That's not cinema to me. It might be to somebody else. So the thing is, my take on cinema is that I'm trying to bring her into that thinking, and she's there. She's got it.
There now.
But she wasn't there. She wasn't there. She was more into serious acting, the silent moments. What are your silent moments saying? Nothing.
It's not like that.
But more important than anything, you need the right place, right time, the luck to get that. I was lucky. Salman was lucky. We got a Maine Pyar Kiya. It was a film that ran. We were lucky. That happened. I don't think his talent or anybody else's talent would have been any less had the film not been successful. The talent was still there. So that's very important. So yeah, that was my spiel of you.
Thank you,
the
sir.
blog.
The blog.
Pranutan, what is the pressure on you like? And also, I would like to add one thing on this. How tough, sir, was it back then for you to bag offers, and how tough it is for you now, Pranutan? Is it actually tough to bag offers?
Okay, so two things. I think, when you come from a lineage like I do, I am the 5th generation. I think it's the first time in cinema that it's happened. So definitely, you are aware of it, especially in the times of social media. It's even more highlighted. And I remember I realized the legacy that I come from the day Salman sir announced that he's launching me. Up until then, when I was preparing and all, it really didn't strike me that this is what my family has created. But having said that, I feel that, there are two ways of looking at it. Either you get bogged down by the pressure, and I feel that would be taking it a little bit negatively, or you feel inspired that, wow, I have this legacy of phenomenal performers who have also conducted themselves very respectfully. So let me learn from them and let me add to it. So that's been my attempt, but I wouldn't say that it doesn't cross my mind every time I'm on set, because it does. And I think that it does in a good way. It encourages me to know what I'm holding, or, what I'm carrying forward. So yeah, that's the first part of your question. Secondly, I think Dad and I have discussed this extensively, that, when Dad was working actively, there were around 20-25 producers in the big league producing films. Unfortunately, now we're down to, I think, maybe 10. So automatically, the people who are giving you work goes down. So when you don't have that back with commercial success, it's really difficult. That's what I feel. But yeah, it's okay. I think if you're crazy about what you do, then you have to be patient. That's what I've learned so far.
Just to touch upon something she's spoken about right now. You see, earlier मेरे जमाने में 90s और 2000s में एक प्रोड्यूसर 2 या 3 पिक्चरें बनाता, एक प्रोड्यूसर. Now 3 producers get together to make one film. That's how it's happening, because the economics are just not matching up to that kind of a return which can sustain. So the number of films have also gone down. The single individual producer hardly exists unless there's a backing of a studio and that sort of. So yeah, the number of films have gone down. We used to produce in the region of 500 to 600 films in a year in the 90s. Even if you had what 5% of that much, you had your date sheet was full. You know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely tougher to get work today than it was in the 90s. 100%.
There's a dog who's joining our interview. Can you hear him? He's लगे हुए हैं नीचे से बात. दूसरे properties लगा हुआ है. इसको कहते हैं actor. Out frame से भी आगे frame.
Okay, let me ask you this. Since we have an OTT space and post-pandemic, internet ka age hai. Internet kind of made us lazy. We don't want to step out for anything. Do you think that would be the same case when pitted against films post-pandemic era? कि हमें जाना ही नहीं, हमें बस इस पे जाना. Do you think ऐसा case आएगा?
That's for me or for Dad?
Both of you. मतलब, do you think कि OTT ज़्यादा space ले लेगा than theaters and people will just,
No, I think theaters have their own place, and it's not really replaceable. होता ये था कि उस वक्त when there was only theaters, then that was the only form of
The only medium.
The only medium of reaching the audience, or the only medium the audience could adopt in order to access, in order to see a film. So all films would release on that medium.
Yeah.
Today, if a film is to release in a theater, in a theatrical setup, then it needs some serious commercial viability, to draw an audience in, because the infrastructure of a theater is a lot more than other forms of reaching the audience. But at the same time, I don't see people. To answer your question, has OTT and television eaten into the theater audience? Yes, definitely. There's no monopoly, For actors, it's fine. There's much more work, but for theater owners, it's not the case, So, yeah, I think there will be it will hit the theater industry, but that doesn't mean the theater industry will go away. It's going to be very much there, because you cannot replace that screen. It's not possible. Honestly,
I believe that. You feel the same, Pranutan?
Yeah, I think cinema is the magic of cinema can't be replaced. That experience, it's not just the screen, going there with your friends and family and the popcorn and the garam samosa. And it's basically it's an outing, and we all miss it, to be very honest. We really do. I also feel that because of the pandemic, a lot of films have kind of got streamlined into this is cinematic and this is OTT. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, for example, I felt Helmet was a very cinema kind of a film. It's a single screen film where the audience would probably be laughing and dancing and all that. I really don't feel that a film like Helmet would really be OTT content, stuff like that, which is also good that we've got these demarcations. But yeah, I miss the movies.
Well, the thing is that what she's referring to is when you're sitting in a theater with an audience, hopefully it's an 80% capacity full, hopefully. Then there's a collective emotion that the audience is experiencing, and you are part of it. That doesn't happen in the OTT platform.
True.
Obviously, because you're sitting alone watching a film, or with a couple of friends.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're seeing a film in the theater, and you have Govinda rocking out there, and people are throwing change on the screen, there's a kind of movement. You're with it. You get, even if you don't feel that way initially, you get introduced to that in the mind, psychologically, and that's what cannot be replaced. Just like you cannot replace a live performance by a band or a singer. on a CD or a album. You know, the mistakes, the rawness that cannot be replaced, and that's what theater gives you. The cinema screens give you.
But I think having said that, I think having said all of this, the content that's coming up on OTT, which has also come up on OTT, is phenomenal.
Not all of it. Some of it was terribly boring.
Some of it, of course. I mean, I'm not saying those ones, but I'm saying the good, like for example, Scam. Stop it, Dad. You're not letting me be diplomatic.
She got me to subscribe to some. I'm not going to. She got me to subscribe to some channel, some OTT platform. Some film or there, put it on, and 15 minutes later, I said, hello.
Hey, I didn't know that's a bad thing.
I canceled my subscription.
How do I know it's a bad thing? But he's not talking about OTT film, yeah. So anyways, I'm talking about OTT like...
You said not to reveal.
Because that's not OTT original content. I'm talking about like Scam and so many others that I've seen on OTT. I think The Family Man, I'm dying to see season 3. So, I mean, they've got their own magic going on in OTT.
Yeah, that's true.
Content is brilliant.
True. Coming to that, sir, you did television too. And during 90s, we had some progressive shows like Shriman Shrimati, or some very, very good shows we had. Why that kind of... Yeah. And Farooq Sheikh did some brilliant shows. Why don't we have those kind of shows in today's age on television? I mean,
no, it's gone to the OTT platform. That's what's gone on the OTT platform.
I agree it's gone to the OTT. But even if there wasn't OTT, it was just mothers used to see. I mean, young log, I guess even Pranutan, nahi dekhte honge. So why was there a diversion completely?
I have the faintest idea. I think there's commercial reasons for it. You know, I remember we were doing weeklies in the 2000s. It used to be every week, your show. It was episodic and it was a weekly. And you had time as a creative team to work on your next episode and bring it forward. And then suddenly it became daily format. And when I spoke to some of the channel people, the heads and all that, they said, you know, it's commercially more viable to go for a daily. We don't have to put up so many shows, which makes sense from their point of view. So I guess what happened was that the amount of time the creative team had to invest in an episode of half an hour or 22 minutes or whatever it is now was much less. You were doing 5 episodes or nowadays 6 episodes a week, whereas earlier you were doing 1. So obviously the quality is going to drop. And I'm sorry to say this, but television quality is atrocious. I mean, it's atrocious. People have makers and great makers who have worked with before have come to me with a project. They've come with a script, they've come with an idea and a thought, and they've made something completely different. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say, and I don't hesitate to say, I think it's terrible what's going on. Sorry, but that's how it is. Maybe that's commercial compulsions. I have no idea. But I do believe that, you know, there should be a little bit more honesty and commitment. You can't be chasing TRPs every damn week.
True.
You know, you're waiting for the next TRP and then you say, oh, now we'll take the script this way. You have no conviction on your script. If a filmmaker can't do that, they need to have conviction on their script, the story that they're telling. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I guess that's a different headspace altogether. That's where I come from. Yeah.
True. Let me add a question to this, to both of you. So you did a very good comedy film, thi ek aapki 1997, Dule Raja. You know?
Yeah.
Brilliant concept. I mean, 5-star ke samne dhaba. Amazing concept it was.
Yeah.
Now,
Chichi and Kader Saab, what about you?
Yes. It was a बहुत अच्छा concept था. And now we even during award shows we have seen एक comedy का अलग section होता है. I mean, which is the toughest part. Like I'm myself a fiction writer, but मुझे comedy नहीं आती. I don't think I can write comedy. I mean, why is it not considered in the main category? And why don't we are not focusing on comedy more?
You mean in award shows?
In award shows, yeah. Like it's separate kind of best comic actor. It's not considered as a main actor.
Tell me something. How is any award show relevant? नहीं सच्ची मैं बोल रहा हूँ यार. I mean, does it matter?
No, it doesn't
एक
matter.
और कैटेगरी है तो कि ताकि एक और मतलब सेगमेंट बन सके, ताकि उतनी टीवी फुटप्रिंट और बन सके. That's why. अगर आप सबको एक ही इकट्ठा में बोल दो बेस्ट एक्टर ये और बात खत्म होगी, 5 मिनट में पता चल जाएगा, खत्म होगी, 3 घंटे का शो नहीं बनेगा. तो and
again,
anyway,
the commercial aspect comes in.
yeah, but how is award shows relevant? I don't understand. I would rather be a commercially viable actor than the best actor by all the awards in the world. You know, it's simple. I'm sorry, but I worship the commercial gods. That's where it's at. You make a film so that the audience sees it and they like it. Of course, within sensibilities, your own sensibilities, filmmaker sensibilities. You don't make a film to sit at home alone and watch it. There are many, I take photos with my phone camera and I look at them and I'm pretty good. You know, so the baat khatam ho gayi. I'm sorry, I might be crossing the boundary.
No, I mean, I love your answers. They're direct and on point.
What is an award show? It's also a commercial venture, isn't it? Eventually.
True.
That's what it is. वो भी तो मतलब television rights बेच बाच के अपना show बना रहे. It's a stage show, yeah.
True, I get it. Okay.
अभी
Again,
सवाल ही नहीं उठता कि मुझे कोई award मिले. बात खत्म हो गई award से.
Okay, perfect answer. Pranutan and sir,
Yeah.
आज की डेट में how big is marketing compared to sir that era as well?
Yeah, I wouldn't know really because I think
Because I'm asking
marketing-
क्योंकि content, I'm so sorry to interrupt, content इतना है. You know, it's vast everywhere. Now you have to
Yeah.
focus more on marketing these days.
No, the way I look at it is that any product needs marketing. It needs to be brought to the market. It needs to be brought to the audience. The audience must know that this is there, and they should be. It should be made attractive to the audience. अगर मैं सबसे महंगी गाड़ी दुनिया की कचरे में के ढेर में जाके बेचने की कोशिश करूं, वो नहीं हो, वो बिकेगी नहीं, उसको वो वैल्यू नहीं मिलेगी, अहमियत नहीं मिलेगी. लेकिन अगर मैं एक सस्ती सी टिकाऊ गाड़ी चमका के प्रेजेंट करूं, तो प्रेजेंटेशन इज इट एंड नॉलेज. ऑडियंस मस्ट think that this is available and know that it's available. That's what I think. So I think marketing has its equal relevance in my time as in Pranutan's future time. It's just there are different methods of marketing nowadays with social media and television advertisements and things like that. We were more on posters all over the city. So yeah,
True.
that's what we saw. Felt very thrilled about it. Whoa, wow. Then you went down south and you saw a huge poster of Rajniji. And you said, oh, wow, itne bade bakte. Yeah, you go ahead. I don't know.
I can't, I mean, I don't know. I was too young to know the marketing scenario then. I just know that,
True.
as Dad said, yeah, there are more mediums to promote your film. And I personally believe that a film should be incessantly promoted. I do believe in that. I do. I think that even if you reach a certain level of stardom, it's very important for your fans or people who are not your fans also to know that this film is coming, and we would really like you to see it, because I think I speak on behalf of most actors that it really means a lot to us when you watch our films. So why not go there and tell people or plead people to please watch the film? I have no qualms in doing it, and I'm super excited about promotions. It's very tiring, but I think it's very necessary.
I think the quantum of marketing, and it also depends on the face of your film. Which is basically if you have Salman, all he needs to do is put up a post, next Diwali I'm here, and that's it. People know, or Akshay, Ajay, etc. But when you have newer actors who have not made their mark, then you need to up your marketing so that the audience knows. It's basically letting the audience know that bhai main bhi hu. Just like as an actor, you let producers and writers know, okay, bhai main bhi hu. So it's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, last question before we wrap up. Sir, Pranutan is named after the great Nutan ji. So how did this idea, I mean, you had discussions regarding this, or you just wanted?
No, it wasn't much of a discussion. My father wanted to name her Nutan, Pranutan. And I said, look, I'll find it very awkward, addressing her as Nutan because it's not on my tongue. So I'm not comfortable. So then he thought up and he said, okay, let's go. How do you like Pranutan? How does that sound on your tongue? I said, that sounds good. What does it mean? And he says in Sanskrit, it means the beginning of Nutan, pra as in again. So that's how she got her name. I think my father named her, and Aarti, her mother, my wife, we kind of both fitted in on this and said, fine. Yeah. Not much thought. Said, "Cha, theek hai, jo bhi dena hai, de do."
It's really funny.
It's lovely.
It was great interacting with you, sir, and Pranutan. I wish ये मैं live कर पाता कभी, क्योंकि
हो जाएगा, I'm sure हो जाएगा.
I wish
Likewise,
ऐसा हो. I don't think ऐसा हो पाएगा, but कभी जरूर सर आपको करूंगा मैं इंटरव्यू आपके साथ एक बार full.
I think we'll end up with COVID as a serious form of flu, which comes every year. I think that's my layman's understanding. Just keep getting yourself vaccinated, just like we do for influenza. So yeah. कब तक ये सब कर सकते? 50%, 20%. आज नहीं जाएंगे, कल नहीं. How long until we get ourselves? Obviously, in the beginning, nobody could understand what was going on, especially not world leaders. They had to take very cautious steps, especially when you had those figures of casualties in places like Greece.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking. It was shocking. I mean, we didn't know this felt like, is this apocalypse? Hai kya ye? But now I think we've. Yeah. I repeat my famous story, please.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I have to take up a patient because she freaks with it. You see, पहले wave में क्या होता था? हम लोग सुनाई देता था कि अरे फलाने को अच्छा क्या हुआ उसको? We used to ask, क्या हो गया? Then in the second wave, it became like, yeah, बिल्डिंग में हुआ, अच्छा बिल्डिंग हमारे बिल्डिंग में 7 फ्लैट्स हैं, वो भी है, अच्छा ठीक है, ओके, हम लोग बच गए, चलो अब सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग वेरी गुड, मास्क पास गया. अभी तीसरे वेव में क्या हो गया, पता चला कि एक आदमी को घाट कोपर में कोविड नहीं हुआ है, तो वो बात टॉपिक हो गई, उसको कोविड नहीं हुआ, और डॉक्टर्स बोल रहे, अरे डॉक आई एम नॉट फीलिंग, क्या हुआ सर? हाँ कोविड है, टेस्ट भी मत कर दो.
He has said this stupid story to everybody. Our entire staff at Bombay knows it. Our staff in Lonavala knows it. I'm sure our Mali in Delhi also knows it by now. He's told everyone.
Even I know it by now. And others will know it. But seriously, I'll be very honest. This is the best interaction I have in my life till date.
Thank you. And what I liked about it is he actually didn't speak so much about movies, which is quite strange. But we didn't.
Yeah, इसीलिए बोल रहा था काश मैं live कर पाता. It would have been an honor for me, but कभी करूँगा.
We'll do that. Actually, I know that you wanted to, but I mean, that's what I got from my team. But I just said that वो पता नहीं कब होगा because the cases are so high. So I said, let's just.
The wave will die down a little bit. You come across here. It's lovely out here in the Nutan.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
you should come
I love
here.
being here.
Definitely, sir. मैं एक बार जरूर आपसे मिलने आऊँगा और इंटरव्यू भी करूँगा आपके साथ. आप दोनों के साथ. But I loved interviewing.
It's okay.
I'm
no
so
problem.
sorry. And we share the same interest as aviation, but
fine, it's fine. It's okay.
Take care, sir. Take care, Pranutan, and
thank you.
wish you luck.
Bye.
And
Bye. Thank you.
To see you someday. Bye bye. Take care.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.